1910, Korea became a Japanese colony. The 500-year Joseon kingdom vanished. Japan did not erase the royal house, it absorbed it into its own hierarchy. Lee royal family, LRF. Not destruction, incorporation, more calculated. Japan's system was strict. Imperial family, aristocracy, commoners. After 1910, a luxury side ticket was made. For Korean traders. The Lee royal family was integrated into Japan's imperial branch. Below them, 158 Korean nobles received Japanese titles and wealth. This was the complete hierarchy of betrayal. Royal family, the direct and collateral royal descendants. Less than 300. Royal kinship council, the senior royal kinsmen, who direct the Jongyakwan. 122 branches, 35,000 descendants, the officially recognized royal lineage. 2.6 million clan members, the illegitimate majority, used as a puppet tool to prop up the cartel. LRF served as Japan's propaganda tool. Needing a local face to justify Asian expansion, Japan tamed them with vast stipends and titles. That was the systemic reality of the LRF. The price was clear. An annual stipend, 1.8 million yen, roughly 3% of the colonial budget. With vast rice fields and estates added, its value reaches billions of dollars today. They sold the country once, and lived off it for decades, equivalent to 150 years of a top official's pay. That was the final payoff for their treason. Even after the 1945 liberation, unconfiscated land and assets were passed down in secret. What should have been cleared remained as an inherited legacy of privilege. August 15, 1945, Japan surrendered. LRF status became void in reality, yet on Japanese legal paper. It survived until the 1947 Constitution. The ID card of a defeated empire outlived the empire by 2 years. 1945, liberation after Japan's defeat. The Korean peninsula was immediately split by ideology. 1948, the anti-national traitors' purge attempt was neutralized. 1950, the Korean War erupted. Communist North versus Free South, while the nation bled. Only a few top royals were banned from entry. The rest of the family, Joseon nobility, remained deeply embedded in the Korean peninsula. The shadow remains to this day. Korean genealogy books are not ancient tradition. They boomed in the late Joseon period, after the invasions of 1592 and 1636. Shook the class order. Bought, sold, forged and inserted. Not records of blood, tools for status laundering. Fallen aristocrats copied genealogies and sold them to wealthy commoners. Buyers moved villages and were reborn as a different clan. 3 generations later, no one asks questions. Money created bloodlines. 1894, the status system was abolished. 1909, modern household registry launched. Even the unregistered were swept in. Anyone could register any surname and clan origin. No real verification. The floodgates opened for mass identity laundering. 2015 census. 2.63 million claim Jeonju, third largest in South Korea. The official royal genealogy recorded only close descendants, tens of thousands at most. At the end of the dynasty, where did the rest come from? The answer is already clear. The Jeonju Lee Royal Family Association, known as Jongyakwan, is the official organization for the descendants of the Joseon dynasty. It originally began in 1922, founded by the former royal family as a private organization, through the entire colonial period. From 1910 to 1945, it operated as the private tool. 1945, liberation upon Japan's defeat. 1948, the Democratic First Republic was born. Yet, first President Syngman Lee claimed to be a 16th-generation Yangneong descendant, parading abroad as Prince Lee. But the actual Lee royal family, LRF, never recognized his royal blood. Inside a brand new republic, a shameless war over royal legitimacy had begun. Syngman Rhee Lee, the first president of South Korea, and First Lady Francesca Donner, an Austrian rooted in the U.S. This was the foundational bedrock of America's line in Korea. Lee's first republic secured vital U.S. aid for post-Korean War reconstruction. But during the 1964-19 revolution, pro-Japanese factions weaponized the chaos to exile him. 1956, Jongyakwan was incorporated as an official foundation. Second chairman was Lee Ki-pung, Hyeryong branch, Rhee's right-hand man. Both branches united. Lusalito seized the organization. A loose coalition, but standing in direct opposition to the LRF, which remained managed by the Japanese Imperial Household Agency. For this reason, the First Republic fiercely opposed the return of the royal family. 3 layers built over time. 1922, LRF Private Army. 1956, turned into Jeonju Lee Cartel HQ by the First Republic, eventually pulled back under the LRF, and behind them, the Japanese Imperial Household Agency. On the surface, Confucian Clan Association. In reality, a mass mobilization platform for those who share the delusion of kingship. 2.63 million is the outer weight. The strings are pulled by a few, and the money. The Lee royal family, LRF, whom Jongyakwan so desperately protects. Their historical atrocities against their own people were pure depravity. In every crisis, they protected their own private power, never the nation. 1882 and 1894, the royal family invited foreign armies to massacre its own soldiers and peasants. They even pulled in Russia, turning the homeland into a bloody battleground for China-Japan, 1894-1895, and Russia-Japan, 1904-1905, wars. 1907, the Crown powerlessly signed away the nation's military. Abandoned soldiers broke their rifles and committed suicide. Others fought desperate, losing battles. The Crown abandoned the army. The army died for the nation. And finally, the 1910 annexation. While the people bled, the royals and traders received Japanese titles and massive funds. In exchange for selling their nation, they survived in luxury as part of the Japanese imperial family. In August 1945, right after liberation, pro-Japanese collaborators burned massive amounts of colonial records, including surveillance logs and collaboration documents, to erase evidence of their crimes. Through this destruction, these traitors went on to forge family registries and launder their identities, desperate to escape punishment by the Special Committee for Anti-National Acts. Traitors laundered their lineages into other Lee clans, Gyeongju, Songju, Anong, and more. At the apex sits the LRF, manipulating this network through a strict pyramid structure. Authentic Jeonju Lees are bound via Jongyakwan, while the laundered factions are deployed through the mass clan assembly. This engineered merger fabricates a 5 million bloc, vastly inflating a true population of 2.6 million. Though South Korea's ruthless capitalism has weakened their cohesion, the LRF's wealthy minions remain deeply embedded. To understand how shameless this cartel is, look at the living hell Koreans endured under Japanese rule. Many Koreans were forcibly taken for different purposes. Comfort women, over 50,000 victims. Forced labor, over 7.8 million mobilized. Forced conscription, 270,000 drafted into Japan's war. Many Koreans never survived the Pacific War. After Japan's surrender, many still never returned home. August 1945, the Yukishima Maru repatriation ship disaster. Official records, 528 deaths among 3,542. Estimated dead, over 3,000, out of 8,000 total. There were 2 types of pro-Japanese collaborators. First, the traitor aristocracy, LRF and Joseon nobility. They sold the country for titles and stipends. Second, blood mixing under colonial coercion, a pattern resembling prima nocta. The capital's ruling establishment offered blood in exchange for Japanese protection and opportunity. In Korea it was called siyangja, seed adoption. Treason wore two different faces. After liberation, Korea's political landscape split into four factions. First, pro-Japanese establishment, LRF, Joseon nobility, blood-mixing descendants. Second, pro-North faction, radical activist politicians in the Democratic Party, leftist networks. Third, pro-China, Confucian and traditional nationalist conservatives. Fourth, progressive feminist bloc, US-centered women's networks and liberal progressives. M was closely linked to the United States. That made him a target from both sides. He grew up oblivious. No one ever told him. To the pro-Japanese faction, a threat to be eliminated, WW2 revenge. To the pro-North faction, an opposition to be contained. Both converged on a single strategy. Raise him like a dog, not a king. Destroy him by any means necessary. The tactics were simple but lethal. To the 2.6 million Jeonju clan, they spread the rumor, a new king is rising, to incite persecution. Rat poison in his childhood, a femme fatale trap coupled with trauma, conditioning in his senior year of high school, sabotaging his university admission, blocking his employment, a weaponized pregnancy terror. To the pro-North faction, they branded him Yankee Mutt to fuel their hostility. As a result, M was forced into a life battered by relentless violence. Yet, this relentless abuse is precisely what forced him to become a lethal fighter. When all failed, their final blow was chemical memory terror, shattering the hard-won knowledge and life experiences he had built through it all. Before the chemical attack, M was the ultimate alpha, a force of nature in vocals, dance, intellect, and combat, a master of rhetoric and unmatched in love. The establishment knew exactly what terrifying potential M held, and that is precisely why they orchestrated such a merciless campaign to break him. For this was their ancient tactic, the art of winning without fighting. The pro-Japanese traders and Japan have long played this game together. Lobby with money, manipulate the Americans, and collapse them from the inside. Watching America dance to this bribery, M sees the absolute truth. Its time is running out. Even within Korea, many have fought to break free from Japanese influence. Inside the Jeonju clan, select groups deeply protected M, wishing to nurture his unique talent. Most were from the Hyeryong branch, whose guidance M received. The real issue was the corrupted genealogy, weaponized by the LRF and their top-tier traders. By playing on their sudden noble identity, the cartel easily ordered these brainwashed minions like dogs, feeding them precise codes of tradition, anti-Americanism, and pro-North propaganda. For instance, a man M grew up calling his brother, turned into a hunting dog for the pro-North faction, while M endured horrific trials in Seoul, and a high school friend turned leftist tool, who owed M everything became the bait, luring him into L's chemical memory terror. Korea never purged its collaborators. Instead, it enthroned them. 80 years after liberation, their descendants hold politics, business, media, and law. Their backroom manipulation of anti-American forces serves a dual purpose: World War II revenge and a cynical escape. By scapegoating foreign powers for every internal crisis, they redirect public grievance and outrage outward. This calculated deflection ensures the masses never question why the nation rotted, shielding the cartel from true historical guilt. Even after the forced tribulation ended, the rapping by the LRF and minions continues, layer upon layer. And yet, what remains to M is absolute clarity. America, now corrupted into a plutocracy, blindly dances to the deep-pocketed lobbying of Jakarta. Why South Korea is fundamentally called the Republic of Samsung. That truth will be unveiled in the next film. What is a chaebol?